Hi, I'm Joanne Cary. Welcome to the Embodied Soul podcast, a multidimensional space intended to support you in mastering living, being, and thriving as an embodied soul during this incredible shift in consciousness. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about the number one intention that I invite everyone to set, why I think it's the number one intention, and when I use it, and why you are going to want to use it too. So if you are ready to join in on the conversation, pull up a comfy chair, invite in your soul, and intend to be open to receive exactly what you need to live, be, and thrive as the embodied soul you are. All right, so what is the number one intention that I invite everyone I work with to set? It is the following. You might want to get a pen handy, although I will include it in the show notes or the description below this video. I am only open to receive those energies and that information that are for my highest good in the perfect amounts needed for my healing and evolution at this time. Now, this intention is the most powerful and transformational one that I've ever come across, and I use it every single day. It is not mine. I didn't create it. I got it from a mentor of mine. You may know him, Paul Selig. And it so supported me and is still supporting me to this day, hands down. One of the reasons, so when I opened up what some people might call later in life. Go back 2017, I started to open up on my spiritual journey. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm missing out. I'm so late to the game. And I felt very rushed. Like I needed to get to some, figurative end of line, some race I needed to get to catch up. And so I was reading, consuming all of this spiritual information, opening to energies and energetics. And what I found is that, oh my goodness, I would knock myself out for like a week. So I would take on so much energy, so many transmissions. My guides worked to open me up and accelerate the integration, but that meant a lot of releases. That meant my life was upside down. That meant I ran out of energy or I felt like ungrounded. And so one of the really important parts of this intention is that you're only open to those energies and that information that are for your highest good in the perfect amounts needed. There is no race to any end line. There's no end to this soul embodiment journey. It's an ongoing process. And once I began to realize that we can only integrate so much energy, that if we try to take on too much energy in our field and in our bodies, it's like pouring energy or water into a cup. It just overflows. And so we're only able to integrate the energetic information so fast, depending on our own systems, depending on our soul path. And so it really behooves us to take it in a way that is gentle, that allows us to still live from a sort of a joyful, happy, peaceful stance. Of course, if you want to be the cowboy and you love the energetics and you love to be sort of in highs and lows, totally don't set this intention. But I, for one, love a peaceful, joyful journey of expansion. So I'm going to repeat it again. I'm only open to those energies and that information that are for my highest good in the perfect amounts needed for my healing and evolution at this time. When do I use this? I use this every single day. And I invite you to as well. For a number of reasons. I'll use it for when I get up in the morning, just generally setting forth that I am looking and intending for the highest that I need for my spiritual journey, for my soul embodied journey, in exactly the right amounts. So when you get up in the morning, use it. I use it before I watch any new movie, television series, because you if I don't know I don't want to be scared. I'm not interested in receiving fear frequencies, things into my body, because your mind can't tell the difference between a thought, an experience, or something made up in a movie. And so I want to only be open again to those energies that are for my highest, that are going to support me in my path. I even will do it in the middle. So say I think, oh, this is a program I watch all the time. There's no issue. There's no stress. It's a really good movie. I'll even set it in the middle of the movie when all of a sudden I feel my nervous system acting up. A case in point, Pixar movie, Inside Out 2. There's a character, I think it was anxiety. I was watching this movie and all of a sudden my system was like on fire with this anxiety. They did it really well. But it was like, whoa, I don't need to have this experience. And then as soon as I set that intention, I just feel like there's this beautiful energy around me that is only allowing into my field what I need. So I definitely recommend using it for that. Use it if you're going to watch the news, if you're going to be scrolling through social media. I use it when I go into social situations or interactions with people that I don't know, or where I think they might be talking about some sort of heavier conversations. All of these scenarios are really to watch what I consume. It is so important right now, with everything that's going on in the world, with the divisiveness, the polarities, the warring, all of the stuff that's happening that is really shifting and calling us into fear. And what we fear calls more fear to us. We don't want to be aligning with the fear frequencies. We're moving and shifting above it. Yet what we consume, our minds, our bodies take on as real, and that impacts our frequency. So you might be doing all of the work, doing your meditations, doing all that stuff. But if you then leave your meditation space and you start consuming, you are averaging in those lower frequencies into your reality. And that's what you will be calling more of to you. And I think it's also a really good idea to set this intention, because we've been taught in many spiritual circles that we need protection, right? That we need to be protected from stuff. And the issue that I have with protection energy is that it means I must have something to be protected from. I must defend myself. And that is fear. That is a fear level frequency. Yet if you set this intention that you're only open to the highest and the perfect amounts, think of it more like you radiating this light. You've got this big ball of energy force that only allows in what's needed for you, what's beneficial for you. Do you see the difference? A protection, I don't want anything to attach to me to get me, versus nothing can even come in because my intention is so important. When you set the intention with intention, it's done. You are that powerful. If you think you have something to fear, you'll get an experience reflected back to you on what you fear, what you think you fear. Versus just knowing that you are a radiant being of source light, that nothing can impact unless you're allowing it. So once again, I'm going to repeat it one last time before we wrap up this episode. I'm only open to those energies and that information that are for my highest good in the perfect amounts needed for my healing and evolution at this time. And I must say that what just popped into my head right now to say is that I also said it when I'm listening to any other channeled message, any other spiritual teacher, anyone that I look up to or may not know what they're transmitting through. I always said it. I would rather just know upfront that I'm receiving what I'm getting, because what you have to remember about the intention is that you're not always going to get what you want. It's not as though you're going to have rainbows and unicorns when you set this, because you didn't come here as a soul for just that. And so anything that, when you've set that intention with intention, you can be sure that anything that you are experiencing, seeing, realizing is coming to your attention for a reason. What is it that I get to learn or experience? What opportunity is there from this thing that is coming up? And I'm also going to say that I also use it before I go to sleep, because there's a lot of, when we go traveling in the different realities over nighttime, there's been a few times it's like, I'm not so sure that this feels as high vibrational. Yet I just know when I go to sleep, if I set that intention, that if I am seeing something, again, I'm learning through it. It's an experience that is beneficial for me. So I would really love to know if you plan to utilize this intention, and let me know how you go with it. I'd love to know. I read all of the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So please leave me a comment. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like it, share it, turn on notifications, subscribe. If you're on your favorite podcast app, definitely leave a 5-star review. It all really helps get the messages out and the energetics out to everyone who needs it. So thank you so much for joining me on the Embodied Soul podcast. I can't wait to see you next week.